click on stream key. Now simply select all the stream key, delete, and paste that new stream key. Okay, right now here you can see it's matched, and simply click on apply. Okay, click on OK. Now here you can see that this is our OBS. Alright, so this is simply a browser source which is not going to work. I'm just showing for sake of example. Now click on start streaming. Now here you can see that on the corner top bottom right side you can see it's showing that green signal, and here you can see it's showing excellent connection. That means our stream is started. Alright, now in this way you will be able to connect OBS to YouTube. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys understand this video.
See what happens. Okay. Okay, I see the problem. Now, in order to use the access for the
Boston, so Kipchoge knows that he's probably come here well prepared and hasn't raced since last year's race, and yes, there's a lot of talent in there, but for me he might still be the man to beat here.
Yeah, I think quick word on Tola as well, the world champion, who's sat very quietly at the back of that group so far, not really made any impression on the front of the race, but looks to be running comfortably. It's early days yet to be trying to pick out who might become, to go back to the chasing group, and it's that Brett Robinson who's dropped back now running with Caress, and it is Mo Farah up the road ahead, and looks as though his work has been done.
Probably because we could have suspected this, didn't we? As soon as he maybe sensed Mo's rallied a little bit, which is this race. They all competitive nature. We suspected this, didn't we? As soon as he maybe sensed, just starts to come to the fore again. So this race, just responding competitive nature from Caress has an abundance, doesn't he? Meanwhile, just starts to come to the fore again. Now moving pretty swiftly here. You can just tell with the cadence. One or two behind, looking as though they may be working a little harder than they were. Now moving pretty swiftly here. You can just tell with the cadence. Looks busy as he always just looking as though they may be working a little harder than they were. Perhaps wanting to move things on back a little. Look at the watch from Kipchoge. It's good to see busy as he always has been. Former world cross country champion, great name on the country. Perhaps wanting to move things on a little bit on the track a couple of times to no avail. It's good to see Kamwara there. Jeffrey Kamwara, the former world cross country champion, great name in there as well. Remember him chasing Mo on the track a couple of times to no avail. The conditions obviously playing a little bit of havoc with still hanging in there to give you the best coverage, but the low cloud and the rain. Well, the conditions obviously in the road is not too much. It's not too bad conditions for them. And there you can see, there's Mo Farah, and in the distance, I'd say what, 5 seconds maybe for Emil Keres. But of course at this point, I mean, this becomes a bit more familiar for Mo. He's done the marathon, he knows how hard it gets from this point in, he's settled into his own rhythm. For Emil, this is now new territory. He's run a good half, he will have done the miles in terms of preparing for the marathon, but he's running very fast. He's running incredibly fast pace, still on that kind of 2.7 to 2.8 mark. And this now becomes a race between these two, which will help both of them, I think.
I think it will. It always helps to have a little bit of company in the marathon, unless of course you're running really well and miles out ahead, and then sometimes you can push yourself harder than you could with other people around you. But I do think, particularly given that very soon this pacemaker will have done his job and will step aside, leaving Mo on his own, to be running together with Emil can only help. And as you said, bottom line, like Sifan Hassan, he is the bottom line, like Sifan Hassan. So to have somebody to actually race with, and so to have somebody to actually race with,
just a little update on further back in the women's race. Just a little update on further back in the women's race. Sam Harrison of Great Britain is in 12th place and is still heading for a very, very quick performance if she can hang on in the last 10-12k. Still heading for something around 2:24, heading for perhaps a women's only world record here. Just to clarify what that means, Paula, when she ran in her super fast, quicker than what the women are running here, when she ran 2:15 and bits, ran when we had male pacemakers and deemed a mixed race now. So there are two world records. There's a mixed record and there's a women's only record, and it's the women's only record held by Mary Keitany, 2 hours 17 and 1 second, and they're inside that now, although I think they've just slowed a little again, Paula, as the race effect starts to take in here. Nobody really wanting to push too hard at this stage, and it's meant that Korea and Hassan still have them in their sights.
Yeah, and these two are locked in a battle. Stéphane Hassan has been in front of Korea. Korea's dropped back, and then she's got herself back in front as well. And that will help those two, just as we talked about Caresse and Farah helping each other there. But on the splits through 30k, 1:37.20. That was I made it a 16:28 for that 5k section. So certainly they're gathering. They had to, after the phenomenally quick pace that they'd run before that. I guess they had to gather a little. I think perhaps the conditions are starting to play a role as well. Now the vests don't get really heavy with the rain, but you do pick up water. They're running through water on the roads. The shoes will be picking up a little bit, socks will be picking up a little bit, and that all makes it a little bit more uncomfortable. And there we go, one group there.
Well, this is really interesting. A little look behind from Mo Farah, and he'll know that that's Emile Caresse. And Emile is really running the race of his life, as he has done on 3 or 4 occasions already in the last 12 months. Could this be an amazing marathon debut for him? He looks strong, he's running well. You're entering that part, though, where we always say it only starts at 30k. They've gone through 25k. It's definitely picked up at the front. And for Caresse now and Mo Farah, this is a race to be the best British athlete here. And Mo won't give this up easily. He's tired. He's gone off at a pace that there were a few raised eyebrows and thinking maybe that's a bit quick for this stage in his career, for his last marathon. But he certainly set his stall out, and now he's in a race to try and hang on to Caresse, see if he can be the first British man across the line.
So, kind of a microphone to work. You were never in that position of chasing down someone, but they always say that if you get to someone and you're closing in on them, you try and keep moving past them. So Emile Caresse, even though he's very early in his marathon career, has to realise this is not the Mo Farah of old, and perhaps Mo Farah will respond, but perhaps just keep on moving and try and open that gap now.
Well, I think key for Emile Caresse is that he sticks to his race plan and the pace that he's comfortable of. You've, at this stage, certainly got to make sure that you get your bottle, as he did there, but really got to make sure that you tune into your body and you know exactly how you are running. So sorry, I was saying there, but I was looking on a different screen. On the screen that we are on, the women are not near any drink station at all, and Yoalo is showing herself at the front and just moving alongside Kipchoge as Kipchoge warns. We go around. Is this Rainbow Row?
This is the Rainbow Row area. We'll talk more about Rainbow Row a little bit later on when we get the masses through here. And we're expecting big crowds in particular in this section. But you're right, Paula, look at that as well behind. Hassan is still holding on to about 10 seconds, maybe even 9 seconds, because there's just a pause in the kind of pace, if you like. They're not slowing down too much, but you can see, look at Kipchoge saying, look, hang on, hang on. I think she's kind of wanting to gather herself. She's happy for this pace to just slow a little bit, which is interesting. I will say, though, that Kipchoge has a great record of, in the last half mile, the last few hundred meters, of winning races when she's been in a contest with somebody else. So her confidence must be high that she can do that. But remember Yohalo last year, late on there was that massive big surge, wasn't it? She put in a really hard mile, and maybe trying to tempt her to do the same. On the other hand, if Stéphane Hassan could take advantage of this slowing and just get close enough to give her a bit of confidence, and it's happening. She's definitely less than 10 seconds now.
It is, and the danger now is that she tries to eat up that gap a little bit too quickly, rather than maintaining her rhythm. She needs to just maintain the pace that she's now settled into, that she's very comfortable with, and not get caught up into trying to make that up very quickly. And I don't know why I'm trying to give her that advice, because she is probably the best at doing that. We've seen her on the track just gradually, not panic, and make it up step by step, and focus as she is doing on the road ahead of her, on that blue line. As somebody has told her, you run that blue line, it's the shortest line on the course, and she looks so much more comfortable now than she did in those early stages.
I think what we've learned today is, as if we learned it, we didn't need to learn it, but just how astonishing an athlete she is, because you look at her PBs at 156 in the 800, 351 in the 1500, all she's achieved on the track, and still wants to achieve, and still is training for that as well, and has come back from all the problems she's had within this race. She's something entirely different.
She is, and that's why we all love her, because, and also she wears her heart on her sleeve, Stefan. She never hides anything. She's always very honest with anyone who chats to her, be that the media or anybody else. She'll tell you what she's thinking. She's grimacing now. She's very honest about leading into this race, about how much she was looking forward to, but how much she was scared of it. She talked about her curiosity. She talked about waking up many mornings thinking, what on earth am I doing this for? And then at other times saying, I've watched London Marathon on the television over the years. She says, I used to put the alarm on when I was in America at 3 o'clock in the morning so I could watch it. So she's aware of what the race means, but aware of what it also means for her in her career, giving her another option going into 24. Because if she manages to close this out here, and that would be remarkable even in itself, given what she was having to put up with a few miles back. But she's going to run, let's say 2:18, let's say 2:17 something, 2:18, that thereabouts. In her debut, not having trained properly for it, not having prepared properly for it, which would be remarkable. So Stefan Hassan trying to chase these guys down, but all of a sudden now, Yohala looks like she might mean a little bit more business. Pausing at the front, thought she was going to go past Kipchoge, just hanging there just for a moment, but you just have the feeling, Paula, that in the next mile or two, one of them is going to have a go.
Yeah, there's just a sense, isn't there, that it's gathering, and it's probably going to come from one of those two. I really get the impression that the other two runners, I might be wrong, but Mugatu and Chakuri are just hanging on to that group. As I say that, Chakuri moves to the front a little bit, but that concentration and focus on the faces of Kipchoge and Yoalo, even the fact that they're still holding on to their bottles as well, they all are making sure that they're fueling up. They know that there's a lot of serious racing coming up now, and you've got to be ready to react to it the minute it goes. And there may be a couple of surges, we've seen that lots of times, just a test surge first to see what effect that has.
Well, many still yet to have their chance to get going in this. Lots of charities, of course, benefiting, over 2,000 official charities, so many others benefiting from the thousands, tens of thousands that are running. We raised 60 million last year, over 1 billion raised over the years. Lots of celebs out there as well. Marcus Mumford's running. A few other sports people. Eve Muirhead, the Olympic gold medalist in the curling last year, is out running her first marathon. And Cuddy Sark, through just about the first 10k, settled down after what we always know is a fairly quick start for all of them. But again, because of the wave scenario, some people here will have started ages and ages behind everybody else, but just to remind you, they all get their own personalized time. Ahead of them, Tower Bridge starting to fill. Always such a popular spot for people to watch, because you can see them obviously approaching halfway, and then they come back through this area at around 20 to 21 miles.